Part two, finding deals and closing them. So where we're at right now, we are in the virtual wholesaling process. We were kind of breaking this down yesterday, and I really want to resume where we're at. I remember part three will be done on Friday. So we kind of broke down the virtual wholesaling process, find distressed properties with marketing, call the seller, sign the agreement. So basically what we talked about more or less was the overview process, so you can sort of understand the process starting out in wholesaling real estate, right? So finding the distressed property with marketing, and we're going to talk about that today too. We're going to talk about calling with the seller, signing the agreement to buy the house, getting pictures of the house, the virtual boots on the ground, and then finding that end buyer, that rich landlord house flipper is going to be part three, walking through and closing and making that cash. That's what we're talking about today. So that's what we're breaking down exactly how to get it going today. That's what we're doing too. Quick disclosure. I put the memes on here so y'all can be distracted while I share this. I'm not a lawyer, realtor, CPA, financial advisor. Seek legal and professional advice before doing anything, and we'll break it down. So those are my memes to distract you while I do my disclosure. But we're going to be talking about today the best ways to find deals virtually. So let's kind of break down exactly my favorite strategies virtually of finding deals. Now, the best marketing channels out there for finding deals virtually, this is honestly what I found. It is cold calling, SMS text blasting, drawing for dollars with a local partner, sending Facebook DMs to sellers, and cold emailing. We're going to break down all this today. Don't even worry. Don't fret about it like you got to learn everything today. I'm going to break down everything you need to know exactly how to get it going. Like, we're excited. So you guys heard my disclosure. This is all cute, right? We got dogs everywhere. We got it this nice. So remember, I want to do this disclosure one last time. Make sure my lawyer knows this. But I'm not a lawyer, realtor, CPA, financial advisor. Seek legal professional advice before doing anything, just so we can make that clear. We got some cute dogs. Cute dogs. Cute Aussie dogs are cute there. I saw one. His name is Dexter. He's a cute Aussie dog, but they're good boys. But we're going to find deals virtually here. We're going to do some cold emailing, Facebook DMs, drawing for dollars, SMS text blasting, cold calling. Those are going to be the strategies we're going to be talking about. We're going to break it down too. Remember, guys, you don't have to learn the entire real estate process today. We're just breaking through step by step. So remember, one last time, guys, you do not have to learn everything today. You don't have to remember, this is a very, very slow process for a lot of people starting out. And I'm just trying to hold your hand. I'm trying to break down exactly how to get started in this business so you can have some success in it. That is the goal for today. Remember, I'll be answering all the questions you have for wholesaling real estate at the end of this, and I am ready to go. Let me know, guys. You can hear me fine. The whole stream's going well. Just make sure you can just give me a thumbs up. Let me know the audio's good. No crackling, no lagging, none of that like that. I would appreciate that. And we'll keep going in this. So I'll just assume everything's going well because I'd see it in the comments. So let's break down the two types of lists in wholesaling real estate. So when we're trying to meet with a motivated seller, number one, a motivated seller, that is the type of person who wants to sell their property for cash. Kind of like regular wholesaling real estate. When somebody wants to sell their property for cash, usually they're going to take a discount on the property. So you might see the wholesaling real estate process here. Let me go back here. And we can see here that we want to find a distressed property with marketing. Why do we want to find a distressed property? A distressed property most likely has a motivated seller, and a motivated seller in wholesaling real estate, virtual wholesaling, is somebody who's motivated to sell the property for a deep discount. They are literally willing to sell the property in exchange for the speed and convenience of a cash sale for a massive discount versus on market. I always tell myself this, hey, you can make more money going with a realtor. And they're like, no, I want to get rid of this just ugly looking house. I don't want to deal with it. That's really good for us in wholesaling real estate, right? And that is kind of the point here. We're looking for people who just want to sell their property for cash for a discount. We do not want to deal with people who want the most for the house. They want the most of the house. No big deal. Hey, point them to a realtor, make that win-win, kind of like we talked about yesterday. So how do we find these distressed properties, people who want to sell their properties for a discount? These are the best ways to attack them, but you need to have a list. You have to create a list of people that potentially could want to sell their property for cash, and then we market to them with these channels. So let's talk about the two type of lists. Either you have to pay for a list, or you can get one for free. Obviously, when you pay for a list, it's going to be easier. It's going to be a lot more simple. And if you have to get a free list, it's going to be a little tougher, but sometimes you get a better quality data on there. So we'll talk about this. So here are the top paid lists for wholesaling real estate. Again, I know I'm probably going very fast for a beginner. I was a beginner once, I promise you. And I know it seems very, very fast, but this is a 3-part series. So that's why I wanted to make sure everyone's really good on here. I didn't want to go cram this entire process in an hour. I've done that before. I did video like that, I think 3 or 4 months ago. I just crammed everything in an hour. I just, you know what? I wanted to take my time and do this the right way for everyone, so you have the most knowledge possible. Remember, guys, paid me 10 grand, so I literally have to go give you $10,000 worth of information today, and that is what I'm doing. So best paid lists. Paid lists are basically lists you get from listrei.com or zachdata.com. That's PropStream and Batch Leads. Use whatever one you want. I really don't care. Those are just free trials to do it. Now, only do it if you got money starting out. If you're a brand new beginner, I would only do free lists, but we're doing the paid list first because this is the quickest one. You can go after people that potentially want to sell their property that have high equity. These are people so technically equity. We'll get the whiteboard out. We'll talk about this a little later, but equity is kind of, they don't owe a lot on the property. That's the fastest way I could really do that. Zombie properties, these are vacant pre-foreclosures to a point where there's a pre-foreclosure on the property, which basically somebody is behind on the mortgage payment by more than 2 to 3 months, and they're just not paying the bank anymore on their mortgage, and they just leave the house. They literally just walk away from the house. These are really, really good deals. They're called zombie properties. Pre-probates, we'll kind of break down probates, pre-probates. These are people that basically passed away. Vacant, because when someone passes away, not cool part about that, but the thing about that is when someone passes away, let's say like where I'm at in the state of Florida, a lot of older people in Florida, and their kids, the quote unquote heirs to the property, the people that are getting that property, they're out of state. They don't want to deal with it. Usually the property's been vacant for a little bit and they just don't want to deal with it. And these are really good real estate wholesaling deals. Vacant houses, those are houses that are just sitting there dormant, like just sitting there. No one lives in them. They're vacant houses. And then like stacked lists. So we can mix some of these together, like a pre-probate and a vacant together. Those do really well. We can also mix these with free lists. If I do an arrest record list with a lien list or a vacant with a probate, that's sort of where it's all at. Now I'm glazing over the paid list. You might be like, can you go pull these for me? Can you show me? Just go to freewholesaling.com right there on the bottom right. Remember, I only have, 4 or 5 hours to break down this 3-part series. So I don't have I would love to get a 2-hour video of just zombie properties, which I do at freewholesaling.com. I have the entire breakdowns there. Unfortunately, I can't be doing that. So that's kind of how the cookie crumbles there. So you just have to go to freewholesaling.com to see the full breakdown on here. So let's talk about my favorite free lists. My favorite free list, guys, for finding motivated sellers are government lists. So what are the government lists? These are basically my probates, code violations, pre-foreclosures, water shutoffs, fire damage properties, arrest records, IRS debt lien list, credit card debt lien list, tax liens and liens. There's so I can go forever on government lists and why I love them so much. I know it seems very confusing, all this crazy mumbo jumbo I'm saying, but again, at freewholesaling.com, it explains it all. At the end of this, I'm going to explain all these lists, all these marketing channels, so it makes really a lot of sense for you. I'm assuming you know nothing about virtual wholesaling, so that's why I'm going in the nitty gritty of it today. So really quick, probate, someone passes away. Code violation, this is basically when code enforcement goes, attacks a property because maybe the grass is too high, there's mold, it's against the code for the city. Also pre-foreclosure, someone that is behind on their payments on the mortgage. Water shutoff, so water got shut off their property because they didn't pay the water bill. I mean, I couldn't imagine living in a house or a place that didn't have running water. So these people are pretty motivated to sell the property, get rid of it. They're pretty motivated. So pretty good list to be going after. And then next we got fire damage properties. Property on fire. A lot of people don't want to live in the house or got burned to a crisp. So never the best one out here. So just be careful of that one, guys. And then the next one here is the arrest record list. The arrest record, basically someone gets arrested. These people they own properties too. People that get arrested own real estate, and usually sometimes they need to sell them. So it's not too bad. Next is the IRS debt lien list, not paying your federal taxes. There's a motivation for someone to sell their property for cash with that. The credit card debt lien list, pretty good. They're behind on the credit cards. Tax liens, they're behind on the property taxes. There's all types of liens out here. Now, my personal favorite, one of my favorite marketing channels out here is Driving for Dollars. Unfortunately, when you're virtual, you cannot be going out here and drawing for dollars. So that is not the best one to do when you're virtual, but you can find somebody in your local market to drive for dollars for you. So let's say I'm virtually wholesaling in Georgia and I live here in Florida. I can find a local person who maybe doesn't want to cold call. They're not, they're a little worried to go talk to somebody, but they're willing to drive for dollars. And it's a win-win because they can drive for dollars for you. And then from there, you can actually call those leads, and then you split the deals, and it's like a win-win for everyone. So that does pretty well, and it works very well for most people there. So that is drawing for dollars. Next one here is cold calling. Co-wholesaling. I don't know what I'm saying today. So co-wholesaling or JVing. This is when you like partner up with someone, you joint venture with someone, and it works pretty well. I actually like co-wholesaling, JVing. Maybe not for your first deal, but like you can find people that can't sell their deal. And if you get really good at cash buyers, which we're going to be talking about part 3 on Friday, we're not doing it tomorrow. We're doing something else tomorrow. And we're excited to do a big announcement tomorrow for that. But co-wholesaling, JVing, there's the best free list to be going after. Let me get some water. We got a lot. Like part 2 is a lot. But again, I gotta like give you a full course. And this is the stuff. And remember, guys, everyone watching, Flip with Rick on YouTube, go to Zachin on YouTube, like whatever YouTube channel, just search, whatever one, we go live at the same one in there, so it doesn't matter. But I prefer the Flip with Rick one just because it's got, most people are on there. So, if you're going to comment, get someone to come on there, it's fine. But you get the replays on the Flip with Rick YouTube channel. You get the visualizers, the charts, the PowerPoint. Like the best value is going to be on the Flip with Rick YouTube channel. That's why I recommend everyone goes there, or the Zachin YouTube channel. On the weekends, we get exclusive Zachin content. Rick gets exclusive content on the Flip with Rick channel. So it's crazy. But what I can tell you right now is that's what I'd be doing. So let's kind of talk about virtual wholesaling marketing. Virtual wholesaling marketing it's different. Let's kind of talk about the difference between virtual wholesaling marketing and break it down. So number one, virtual wholesaling marketing is going to be way harder than local wholesalers. Like you're going against local wholesalers. They have a big advantage. They can go in front of the seller. They can do the sticky notes. They can do all this stuff, which we're going to break it all down. Like, don't worry, guys and gals. Like, we're breaking it all down. You're going to be going after lists that are better than the average local wholesaler. So we're going to be going after lists in our virtual wholesaling that most wholesalers locally aren't willing to do because they're lazy. We're also going to be going after a lot of niche and government lists. Remember, at freewholesaling.com, we break down the exact thing, bottom right there. We're going to go cold call this list. And either we can do other type of marketing channels right there, but most people, cold calling is going to be the best one out there. We're going to do some direct mail, SMS, listrei.com list for larger budgets, right? So if you do have a larger budget, I do recommend maybe do some direct mail, SMS, prop stream type lists. But remember, freewholesaling.com, get through it, and then you can decide from there. Now, I always recommend people get a local partner to drive for dollars for you. You can find these people in Facebook groups. And then once you get these lists, you're going to have to find their phone numbers. So that's called skip tracing. You can actually find people's phone numbers for free at truepeoplesearch.com. That's pretty good. And then zachdata.com is if you just want to pay for the skip tracing. But remember, you can do this still all for free. So let me kind of break down exactly how I recommend the cold calling. Now, I know, guys, I'm talking very fast, and here's the cool part. I literally have hours and hours. I can actually answer questions like I did yesterday. I'm going to do today of any of the questions I just said. And remember, most of your questions are going to be answered at freewholesaling.com. But hey, you could still ask me the questions right now and be happy to help. Okay, that's what I like doing. So how do we cold call, right? So basically, cold calling comes to the point of you pulling a list, skip tracing that list, basically finding their phone number, and then calling them most likely with Google Voice when you got no money, brand new, starting out. Remember, I did promise everyone I can teach you this for free. So if you want to do it for free, Google Voice is it. Now, when I'm calling these people on one of these lists, this is my cold calling script. Like, this is my patented script. This is the stuff to pay the big bucks for, but it's really simple. This is the stuff that I've been using forever, and it works really well. This is basically, are you the owner of 123 Main Street? And then, are you interested in selling the house? That is my cold calling script. Now, you might be saying, Zach, whoa, why is your script so simple? Like, what's going on? It has to be complicated, right? What I've personally found out for myself and with everyone watching, especially students starting out, when they complicate their wholesaling real estate scripts, when they complicate it, they get confused. They sound like salesmen. It's really hard for a VA to do this for you, a virtual assistant, especially when you're scaling a system, because a lot of VAs have accents and it doesn't sound really authentic at all. So I have personally found, in my opinion, like even when I'm doing big operations, this is the operations I literally use to run a 7-figure operation. Literally, this is the script I use. If you ever got a recording from one of VAs and they literally ask these two things, you know it's probably my VA doing it. And it is basically asking the two basic answers. I'm going to say this again. Hey, are you the owner of the property? And are you interested in selling the property? I think a week ago or like 2 weeks ago, I actually pulled in front of everyone live a probate list. And I found the phone number live and actually got in front of the probate air. And you guys saw me use the script and it worked very well. Hey, are you the owner and are you interested? And then we qualify them. What is qualifying a seller? I get it, guys. Very confusing. So please ask your questions. I'm always here to help. But qualifying your seller is basically the process of seeing if that lead. So when somebody says they're looking to sell a house, we're not instantly going to give them an offer, because a lot of people that say they want to sell their house don't want to sell it for a discount. So we got to ask them some 4 basic questions. And if they get through those questions fine, then we know they're probably willing to sell for a discount. If they're not, hey, no big deal. We're not going to force the deal. And we're going to qualify. So if you find somebody by cold calling, they say they're interested, which usually you call enough, you will get it. You're going to ask them these 4 questions. You're going to ask them motivation, condition, time frame, and price. That's the 4 pillars you got to look up. That's the ones you have to be focusing on. And that's going to be the most important part. So what do I mean by this? Like, how do I answer these questions? How do I say them? So let me break them down. So number 1, motivation. Hey, Mr. Seller. So you said you're interested in selling your house. Yes, I'm interested. Well, can you tell me a little bit about the property? I mean, why would he be looking to sell it? So we're figuring out why they want to sell the property, because if they have a really bad reason why they want to sell, probably not a good wholesaling deal. But at the other end, hey, if they want to sell it and if they got a good reason, it might be a good deal. Condition. Hey, Mr. Seller, can you tell me a little bit about the property? How's the roof, AC? Does it need repairs? Does it need updating, flooring, all that fun stuff, right? That's what we sort of want to figure out in wholesaling real estate. Next here is time frame. When are they looking to sell it? Are they looking to sell this house in like a month, a week, a year? That's a pretty good question to ask. And then lastly, price, how much they need to sell the property for. Now, if they need to sell the property for like an insanely high price, we can always negotiate them down from there. And we're going to break down exactly. But we got to figure out exactly how much the house is worth. Remember, in wholesaling real estate, we buy a property for a certain amount of money, and then we sell it for another certain amount. So if I put a property under contract for $100,000, I know it'll sell for 120 to somebody. I know that I'm locking up for when they say they want to sell for 110. I know, hey, I'm going to make 10K on this deal. Let me negotiate a little more. We're going to figure out and show you exactly how I figure out exactly how much to offer with these people. So let's kind of break down the steps of acquisitions. We're going to break down exactly how much to offer sellers, my offers formula, my selling scripts, all this stuff today. We're breaking it all down. It's going to be very fun. So if you guys are getting any value right now, like let me get a drink right here, but any value, guys, like this video, just like it, ask a question, comment it, share it. We're trying to change wholesaling real estate, the entire industry, by giving everything out for free. Not a lot of people think we're doing the right thing. A lot of the gurus, they want us to sell everything for 10, 5 grand just to be like them. But, oh no, we're not doing that. Okay. I'm giving you the whole game for free today. So got any value, hit that like button while you're watching this, smash that subscribe button, follow me on YouTube, everything you guys want, flip the exact on YouTube, and we'll get it going. So these are the 3 steps, and go to freewholesaling.com, obviously. So these are my 3 steps to virtual wholesaling acquisitions. So number 1, once somebody is sort of ready to sell, ready to sell. Yeah, everyone can tell this is a live video, guys. I always do this live, okay? I'm always doing this live, okay? But basically, number 1, we're going to condition the seller and doing a phone for virtual. Now, I know this sounds confusing. I know it. That's just why we're going to ask questions today. We're even doing one-on-one chats today for everyone who joins the Wholesaling House for Real Facebook group. That the link is actually pinned on there for all my people that want to talk to me one-on-one. So we're going to break it all down today. So don't fret. Don't worry about this, okay? We're going to condition the seller. So what is conditioning the seller? So basically, conditioning the seller is when we're talking to someone, they say, well, they want to sell the house, and, they give you a good reason. It seems like a pretty decent deal. What we're going to do is tell them, hey, before I go talk to you even further, before I give you an offer on the property, because we're just going to offer the property, right? And offer a price for it. Are you willing to make a yes or no decision right now? Now, if they say no, hey, no big deal. Call me back when you're ready to make that decision. The reason why I do this quote unquote conditioning of the seller, okay, before we do that quote unquote conditioning of the seller is because if you give an offer and they say maybe, I got to think about it, you're going to lose that deal. Now, if you say, are you ready to make a decision? They say, yes, I'm ready to make a decision now. Then boom, you give the offer, you're going to yes or no, and then basically it increases the amount of money you make in wholesaling. Now, this is literally, like I say before, this is like, you got to pay big money in masterminds to learn this stuff. I just said that. So before every single time you talk to somebody in wholesaling real estate, before you actually talk to them, you need to say, are you ready to make a yes, no decision on selling the property before we go further on this? Literally 10 grand. You have to pay that information to get that for most people. And guess who gives it out for free? I do. Okay. So now I just told you that. I want you guys to write that down. Make sure you know that. Now we're going to do the phone appointment. So this is basically when we're ready to give the offer to the seller over the phone. So number 2, we're going to lock the contract up and send a title. So I'm going to break down my acquisitions process at the end of this and really my lines, my scripts, all that. Remember, it's all at freewholesaling.com, by the way. But really, it's more or less talking to them over the phone, figure out first how much the property is worth, getting the motivation, condition, time frame, price right, and we're ready to go. So when they're ready to lock up the contract, hey, Mr. Seller, after looking at everything, the property seems like it's in good shape. I mean, why are you looking to sell the property? So you just keep talking to them some more. I mean, why don't you list the property with a realtor? And you're trying to figure out why they're not listing with a realtor. And they say, I'm looking to sell it without a realtor because I just want to get rid of it. Okay. Well, Mr. Seller, and remember, guys, we did a full 2-hour video on every single closing line for virtual and in-person wholesaling at freewholesaling.com and on the YouTube channel. I think we did last Thursday. So it was powerful stuff. And use those lines. We did the good cop, bad cop, all of it. But my favorite virtual line basically is, Mr. Seller, in the perfect world, if I was able to just buy this property for cash over the phone, guys, in an ideal world, what works for you? Like quick, simple, easy. I'm able to buy this thing cash. What price works? How much do you need to get rid of the property for? And you just shut up. See what they say. They say 140 and it sells your cash buyer for 150. Count them and say, Mr. Seller, I was kind of close for like 110. Negotiate from there, lock up 120, make 20K. Like that's based on the line. We'll go over the lines at the end of this. We're going to find boots on the ground, basically a runner from Facebook, Craigslist, and they are going to take pictures of the house, go by the property, maybe put a lockbox if it's a vacant deal, and then we're going to send the deal to title. Remember, we're doing a full thing on title companies. Title companies are basically an intermediary. They basically run the title. Look up title if you need it. Freewholesaling.com. We kind of break it down. Oh my gosh, we got some cute haters on, but it's always fun. But basically what we do is we find the boots on the ground, we take pictures of the house, and then we basically give that to the cash buyer. And title, really, they're the ones who actually pay you. They're the ones who give title insurance to the cash buyer. Look at freewholesaling.com, kind of break down how title works. Now, this is the next part. How do we actually find the value of these houses? And this is a pretty important one. Let's see here. I got to go block somebody. Dang, that was easy. All right. But basically, how do we find the value of the house? So remember, we did a closing line. We said basically, hey, Mr. Seller, in a perfect world, if I was able to buy this thing really quick, easy for cash, how much do you need to get rid of the property for? Say, 100,000. Mr. Seller, closer to like 70. Does that work for you? 70 works. And you lock it, and then you give them a contract for 170. Easy e-signing service. DocuSign is probably the best one. And you get the contract signed. I use Dotloop actually because I actually partially own a real estate brokerage. That's for a different day. And we basically send that contract, get signed, bring it to the title company. We get $100 earnest money deposit. Best title companies you find for virtual, just go to a Facebook group for your virtual market. Say, hey, what title company you guys use? Then go from there. So basically find the boots on the ground, take the pictures of the property, and you're good to go. So I prefer Facebook. I don't like Craigslist for finding someone to go take pictures of that property, but that's what I say. How to actually find the value of a house. So we need to basically how to find how much the property is good. Oh my gosh. We got some people fighting the comments, but so how do we find the value? So if you want to put a property under contract for 100,000, sell it for 120, and the property's going to sell for 120, lock it up for 100, how do you figure out, that's the first question. How do you figure out how much it's going to sell to a cash buyer? There's a lot of formulas. There's a lot of confusing ones people have out here, but I'm going to share my exact one. So how do you find the value of the house? How much it'll actually sell to a cash buyer? What we do is we find similar looking houses in that area and see what they're selling for. For example, if it's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, right? We want to find other 3-bedroom, 2-baths in the area. And that's what we do. Okay. It is insane right now because the market is like so hot right now, but still, this is the best formula we found for finding houses. You just have to find what similar looking houses in the area in the past 4 or 5 months have been selling for. They're called comps, aka comparables, and they compare it to your deal. So that's how we find the ARV. So that's what we do. So let me show you the exact thing. Okay. So number one, if I have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, let me get the whiteboard for this. Let me show you exactly how I find comps, how I should find out values of houses. All right. I don't want to confuse all here, but let's break it down. I know it's going to be hard to. All right. We good here? Yeah, I think we're good. Also, everyone by saying this is a scam. I got all these people in the comments, I think it's funny, but no, I ain't selling the course. So we have, let's do this. We have a property right now. It's a 3-bedroom, 2-bath. Okay. This is the property that they want to sell, right? 3-bedroom, 2-bath. So we have a 3-bedroom, 2-bath house. It's 1,000 square feet and it was built in 1982. Okay. That's what it is. So what I'm going to do is either use a couple websites. So some websites I like for finding properties that are similar, absolutely for free. So free ones, it's going to be like Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. I found these are the best websites. I know I literally have the worst handwriting of all time. Seriously, guys, I know I legitimately have the worst handwriting of all time, but just deal with it for me. This is why I make PowerPoints. I don't do whiteboards, but I think it helps. So this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,000 square feet. I like using Zillow, Redfin, Realtor.com. So what we're going to do in the general vicinity, what we're going to do is look for similar pieces in the property. How do we find this? So we look for similar properties in a same subdivision we like, but we're going to do this basically a 1/4 mile. So we'll do 1/2 mile. Okay. 1/2 mile. We're going to look for similar houses. Okay. With similar what, right? This is my general rules. Plus or minus 250 square feet. Okay. We're going to use same bed and bath. Same decade. So basically, and then we're going to look at, what else we're going to do? Similar construction. So that's basically what we're going to do. Okay. So 0.5 miles. Now I prefer this. Now this is for like more rural. I'm actually going to switch this up. I actually like this too. I like subdivisions. That's what property appraisers use. They use subdivisions. Now, subdivisions are basically how they divide houses. You can look up on property appraisers how it works. But basically, subdivision. So what does this mean? Let's say the subdivision is called, Ginn Heights, right? Ginn Heights. Even use zip code if you want. Like use same zip code if like it's confusing for you. That's what I'd prefer. Now, similar square feet. So that means we can only comp properties. So if you find similar houses, they have to be 750 square feet to 1,250 square feet. So every house in the same zip code that's sold, you can use a month, 2 months, 3 months, 4 months. I prefer go from newest comps to oldest comps. Okay. I don't like going past 5 months, but you can do that if you want, especially how hot this market is. We're going to ask here about Trulia. Trulia is owned by Zillow, so basically they're kind of using their own thing. You could use Trulia too. I'm kind of mad they got rid of crime statistics on Trulia. That was actually one of my favorite things they had. Same, so only 3 twos. Okay. Same decade. What I mean decade is only houses built basically from 1972 to 1992, plus or minus 10 years on these constructions. And then the last one's similar construction. So let's say we have this crazy concrete block house. We're not going to compare that to a ranch style house, right? That's what I mean by this. And we want to stay within, I prefer 3 months or less. So I hope that makes sense for you guys, like how I'm figuring it out, like how these comps work. Now, the real question is, like, let's say I find some property. So take a picture of this. Who wants screenshot? This is all recorded, so don't worry about that. But let's do our list, right? So I did my list on Zillow, right, of similar properties that sold, and they're pretty easy to find. I found a couple of them. Let's do it. So I found number one, I found a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, built in, that's like 895 square feet. Okay. And it sold for $126,000. All right. Makes sense, right? Property number 2, same 3-2. This one was 1,200 square feet. And it sold for $165,000. We're gonna do number 3 here. Another 3-2. This was 1,000 square feet, and it was roughly sold for like $140K. And this one sold like 2 months ago, but it was on the same street, right? And this one sold like 4 months ago, and this sold like 1 week ago. Okay. So we found 3. Now, I prefer you to 4 to 5, but let's say it's at roughly this. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to do some calculations. And I'm going to get my calculator on here. We're just going to divide the price per square foot it's sold for. That's it. So quick maths. 126 divided by 895, 140. So basically we'll do the red one here. 140, basically 141 a square foot. Basically we figure out this is about so basically sold for $141 per square foot. Now we got the other one here. I know my handwriting's small. 165 divided by 1,200. That sold for $137 a square foot. So and then the 3-2 here, which honestly, I'm gonna tell you right now, if a property on the same street sells and it's the similar like square foot and it was built in like the same time length, you really want to use that one like with emphasis. So we're all guessing to a point on this one, but that's 140 a square foot, right? Now, if I do this was built in 1980, 1975, and then 1986, right? We're looking here. I can make my best guesstimate right now that we're probably very similar to this one. I'm going to give the edge to the 141, but we're just going to do the mean of it. So let's do the calculation here. So we're going to add all these together and see it. So 141 plus 137 plus 43 about 139. So 139.3. So if we did the math right on this one, basically it's just the process of it. This one's pretty much like spot on that we've seen. So that's the cool part. So that means about 139 a square foot is what our average comp is. And what we do is just multiply this average by the square foot of our property in question, which is 1,000. So times the 1,000 square feet we got on ours, basically close to like 139. And these are like brand new properties with realtors. They're super pretty. They're super nice, right? And it's like 139.9. So that is our ARV. That is what the property is going to be worth after it's repaired, all pretty on the market, like really nice in its best process. Now, we might have a dumpster house that needs a bunch of work, but this is similar to what we like. So that's going to be our ARV. So let's kind of break down the calculations on this. So really quick, that's how we find ARV. We'll bring this out probably for something else. But that's how we figure out ARV. Oops. Where are we at? All right. So this is how we find it. Remember, guys, ask the questions. I'm here to help. So that's how we find the value. Now, how do we figure out once we find ARV? Now, in my personal opinion, if the property has under 120K ARV, that's going to be ARV minus repairs. Multiply that by 70%. That's going to be your MAO. MAO stands for max allowable offer. So we got to figure out how much to offer the property. We want to buy the property for a discount of what's the value. Now, what's the value of a property? I figured out pretty much the value of a property is ARV, what the property is worth after repairs, minus off repairs, right? That's basically market value for it. We want to buy it for a certain percentage below market value. So if the property has under 120K ARV, which we literally just figured out on the whiteboard here, okay? What we're going to do is multiply that by 70%. That's the most we can offer that seller. Now, if ARV is over 120K, we're going to multiply by 83%. Now, if ARV is over 500,000, we're going to multiply by 85%. And basically how that works is that's how we know. So back to the stinking whiteboard here. All right, guys and gals, I'm going to show you what I mean by this. Everyone thinks I'm crazy. Like, look, this is what I found after millions of dollars in wholesaling. I teach a lot of people this. I teach everyone how to do this. Look at this. Okay. I did not stutter. This is Stanley asking this. Did I stutter? I did not stutter. Okay. This is literally how it works. That is the calculation. Okay. So let's break down my offer and how it works for wholesaling. Okay. Bear with me here. Let's see here. I think everyone watching on here, I can't do it backwards, so bear with me. Check out, go to Flip the Rick on YouTube or Zachin on YouTube, and that's where it's kind of like looking the best on it. But for my YouTube people out here, they need to see it. So let's get out the whiteboard and let's kind of break down how MAOs, offers, and all this stuff works. So we already did the calculation of this deal that the ARV basically 139.3 on it, right? So based on our calculations, let's pull it up here, right? Let's pull it up here. FYI, everyone, for watching this, just look. Y'all are missing out. We got the full thing on here on the YouTube channel. So recommend y'all go to the YouTube channel watching this. If you're subscribed to YouTube, comment below and let everyone know what channel you guys are subscribed to on this one. But we're over 120, so we're using 83% here. All right, using 83%. So we got to figure out what repairs are. So how do we figure out repair costs, right? So there's a lot of ways to do it. In my personal opinion, you either got to figure out if it's going to be on more or less if it's going to be a $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 repair. The best way to do it is just having experience. And I know it's a bad answer, but like figuring out how much flooring costs, how much it actually costs to fix ACs, repairs, all this stuff. I have a general chart. I'll go pop it up for you guys. I gotta find it. Repair chart, flip with Rick. Actually, I think I made a TikTok on it. I gotta look it up, but it's basically more or less. It's close to like 20, $30 a square foot for the repairs for a lot of these properties. So just FYI, make sure you guys know that. But you figure out, hey, it needs flooring, it needs the AC done, it needs this, and this. You can basically guess like with square feet. So I'm going to use like 1,000 square feet, for example. I'm going to make like a slight tiny chart for repairs just so like we can understand it. If it's like, I don't know, it's under a grand square feet, it's 1,000 to like 1,500, and then plus square feet. This is like a really rough chart, but like this is kind of how I figured it out. We're gonna do light, medium, heavy repairs. All right, makes sense, right? What in the world did I just do? Y'all can tell I was not fit to be a teacher, but I still do my thing. All right. So basically, more or less, the property's under 1,000 square feet. If it's a light repair, most properties I found on light repairs, kind of close to like at least 10 to 15K. That's like on very like a small property needs light repairs. They're mostly all 10 to 15K. Now, 1,000 to 15, very light. I would put 15K to 20K. And then usually for like even a bigger house, usually 20K is like a very light one. Now it could go to 25K. Like this is going to be rehabbing things, flooring, like the whole shebang. Usually it's about 20. I'm going to say 20. I mean, like I just did a medium one on under 1,000. It cost me like 20 to do. So I'll say 20. You know, it's kind of closer to heavy, but we're gonna be fine here, right? And then a heavy one, probably 25K to 30, depending on the roof. You know, like a roof's gonna be 10K, so that's gonna take it off really quick. So like you have a medium one that doesn't have it on there, so it's crazy. So let's break it down here. All right, and so now 1,000 to 1,500 square feet. We're closer here to around, I would say 20 to 25K. 30. We're gonna go. It's definitely gonna be 30. Like a medium, 1,500 square. Like I'm assuming roofs are needed, so this is why it's a little higher. And then obviously there's inflation, so 30K, and then we're probably closer to 25 to 35K. All right, and then basically for heavy, we're 35. Now, I'm putting 50K. The reason why I'm putting 50K is a heavy 15. Like in my time in real estate, I've done a lot of crazy houses. So I've done a heavy house where the whole house had Chinese drywall, mold. There was no roof. The sun was coming out. You could see the sun from it. And there was black mold everywhere, rats in the walls. Okay. And there's no roof and there's mold everywhere. And the whole drywall had to be replaced. Okay. Basically abandoned. All right. And there was roots coming from the toilets, all the plumbing. Like there's going to be like, that was like a 70K one. And like, these are regular heavy ones, right? Like, I'm not assuming like the worst house ever. I like complete, like, so Stacy's kind of saying complete teardown. Usually this is where generally, now if I have to, like, there's replacing a roof and there's like no roof on the house and like doing that complete, like, this isn't like the most disgusting house ever I'm talking about, but like, you know what I mean? And then I would say you're probably 40 to 60 grand. Like, obviously it can go to 75K. I have cash buyers. They're doing one of these deals. I sold them to that 35K check. Yeah, it's 1,500 square foot house. It's probably like going to be 100. Like, it can go to 100K. Like, any of these can be 100K depending on what like it has to do. This is like a very rough, general like matrix type chart for you guys. This is all guesstimation to an end, to a point. Okay, this is all guesstimating. Like, that's the best way I can really describe this. We're guessing to the point. So that's how we do that one. So let's kind of break this down some more. So if you know, generally the repairs are gonna be like 25K on this deal, right? We saw some pictures. It's gonna be now what I've seen most people in wholesaling real estate, they overestimate the ARV every single time. Most beginner wholesalers do because they're too optimistic. Mostly they always overdo it. So, oh God, here we go. Live math. This ain't going to be good. Right? Yeah, that should be fine. So, that's terrible. Uh, 114,300 is 114,300 basically is ARV minus repairs. Now we're going to multiply this by 83%. All right. So times 83%. Basically, we're just going to do 0.83. That's what we're going to multiply it by. And that is going to give us quick math. Yeah, I mean, what Neo Jason's basically saying, you got to take the emotion out of it. I see someone get like, oh, this house sold for $190 a square foot. But I'm like, well, that one had a very nice metal roof. That one also was on the water, you know, like that one was like in like this luxurious part, you know, and this one had half an acre. Like, people just want to, they want to assume the best. Cash buyers, they're going to do it for you. So 114,300, 9486. So I'll say 95K. Let's be nice. I tend also, like, this is going to be like when I do like live numbers with you guys, I always tend to undervalue my houses. I always assume the cash buyer is going to pay 95 for it, and they always end up paying like 100, 105. I'm always conservative with it. I don't ever like putting a property under contract and then reneging out of the deal with the seller. We never usually ever do that. So we always do it. And then worst case scenario, we make an extra 30, 40K, right? Like, our average assignment's like 50K, pretty much 45, 50K. So 95K is our MAO. Make that one black. All right. All right. 95K is our MAO. That is the most we can offer the seller over the phone. So if the seller says they want to sell the house for 100K, all right, that means I'm going to make 95K equals 5,000. So whatever I put the property under contract for, minus off basically the MAO, that's what I'm going to make. So if I have it under contract for 95 and cash buyer is going to pay 100K, I'm going to make 5,000. All right. So let's say, actually, wait. What am I doing this? I did the math wrong on this one. Hold on. Sorry. So MAO is 95. So MAO is here. So if they want to sell for 100K, I'm not going to make money on this. So let's say they want to sell for 100 and we counter at 80 and we close at 85. I lock it up for 85K. that means I'm going to make 10,000 on that. Okay. So basically how it works at the end of the closing day. So I lock it up for 85,000. Cash buyer buys it for 95. So 85K contract. Right? So if we put under contract for 85, we sign it to a cash buyer for 95,000. That means at closing day, cash buyer is going to give 85,000 to the title company. Okay. Basically 85K goes to the seller. And then 10K goes to me, the wholesaler. And that's how we make money on the deal. That's how we calculate it all. And that's how that works. So let me know if you guys got questions on that one. But that's how that all works. So let me know if that kind of explains it a little more. But like that's basically how we do it. And that is to a point how much you can tend to make on these deals and how much you can calculate it. I get asked all the time, like, Zach, how do you mentorship everything? Just go to the YouTube channel.